Chaos reigns. Hot damn. And here it is.
Do you like scary movies?
Ghostface! Sit back down. T-1000, I don't give that much of a shit. And there's Conan. Conan! Conan! Whoa! Available on release! That means that all three of... What the f***? So all... Alright, that's awesome. Ghostface is coming out soon, we hope, for Mortal Kombat 1, and I have a little wish list that I want to share with you guys. Make sure you like and follow, or else you might be getting a phone call tonight. First, let's talk about masks, since that's definitely what Ghostface's customization piece is going to be. I've got 5 that I want to see be featured. Number 1 is obvious, because when you think about Ghostface masks, aside from the original classic white one, what's the mask that comes to mind? The Devil Mask. Because it's freaking amazing. Number 2 is the most likely of all these to happen, being the aged mask from Scream 6. The movie wasn't amazing, but this mask is pretty solid, it's very spooky. Then the one that is the least likely to happen, but it's the one that I want the most, from Scary Movie, is on par with being as famous as the original, so I really hope we see it. Then there's the one that I think most people don't really care about, but honestly, I don't hate it, which is the mask from the TV show. Yes, it's different, but it's still not bad. It's kind of scary. Also, apparently the show is actually pretty decent. I've never actually seen it, though. And number 5, we got the Chrome one, just because I think it's neat. I don't think it's ever been in a movie, though. And let's talk about the kills. Now, a lot of Ghostface's kills are just, I'm gonna stab you really bad. Which, while brutal and vicious from a horror movie perspective, we see people get shanked in the chest and face 15 times per match in Mortal Kombat. But there are some extremely iconic and unique kills that we can pull from to make Ghostface's finishers a little more interesting. Let's start with the one that we're all thinking about, the garage door. If Johnny Cage can summon a Lamborghini and Shang Tsung can pull an examination table out of thin air, I don't see why Ghostface couldn't chase his opponent into a garage and give him the old Rose McGowan treatment. Also, can we take a moment to appreciate that this scene was in the actual first movie? This is not from Scary Movie. They put this scene into a serious slasher horror film. That is hilarious. That's something that we see fairly often in Scream movies, but it's not often the focus of the thing, being just a gun. Ghostface is the most infamous, I am going to stab you killer in all of slasherdom. So I think it would be pretty funny for a fatal or a brutal, they just said, and just pulled out a gun and blasted their opponent away. And turning the tables for the last one, as I'd love for a fatal or a brutal to just be Ghostface reaching off screen, grabbing a tube TV, and just spiking on his opponent's head like what happened to Stu. But yeah, that's what I want, and now, we gotta wait for his release date. Who's gonna be under the Ghostface mask in Mortal Kombat 1? A lot of people have been asking, and tons of guesses have been thrown around. Mocap, Suhao, Taven, Jarrett, Kung Jin, and original character Billy and Stu. And I've been racking my brain and considering who it could be, and well, I've come up with a theory of who it is, and I really think I'm right. Ghostface is almost always more than one person, and we've already seen through the trailers that they are a tag team. So who is a Mortal Kombat duo who would make sense, but isn't super powerful? Would make sense they want to be murderers. Isn't too big where people would be upset if they were used for this instead of being their own characters. Aren't already in the game and would make perfect sense for them teaming up in the first place. All those qualifiers whittle down the list significantly. But there is one pair of characters, one combat couple that checks all of those boxes perfectly. They are mid-tier characters that are normal humans, don't possess superpowers, that historically are already friends, and they're just kind of douchebags. Who is this troublesome tag team? Cobra and Kira. What other pair of characters that are closely related would it make sense for them to don the masks? They're both just normal size, normal ability humans. In the lore, they've always been a chair of chucklehead flunkies that I could see putting on the Ghostface mask for fun. Plus, what's Kira's main weapon of choice? Knives. Am I right? Well, that mask will have to come off for x-rays and certain fatalities, so we'll see soon enough. Ghostface is one of the most popular slasher villains of all time, and they're coming to Mortal Kombat 1 very soon.
Do you like scary movies?
Are you kidding? Murder hornets paid for my mansion.
There may be a few facts that you didn't know about them. Let's start with the biggest thing of them all, being of course, the mask. Ghostface's mask is one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic slasher mask in the history of slasher masks. But did you know that Wes Craven and the prop department for Scream did not design it? The Ghostface mask, originally dubbed the Peanut-Eyed Ghost, was a real Halloween mask that was available in stores from a company called Fun World as part of their Fantastic Faces run of Halloween masks that started in 1992. The decision to use a real Halloween mask in the movie was a deliberate choice to make the killer feel more real, as you don't often see, knife-fingered burn victims walking around the streets, but the people sitting in the theater had trick-or-treaters come and knock on their door wearing this exact mask. And while the Scream movies made the Ghostface mask a household name, when they went to make the Scream TV show, they decided against using the traditional ghosty, making their own in a similar style, dubbed the Lakewood Slasher. There were two reasons cited for changing the mask. First one was copyright issues, and the second one was creative decisions. MTV's head of scripted development stated that they wanted a more dark and grounded tone for the show as opposed to the movies as a reason for the new mask. And at first I was like, oh yeah, because the Scream movies aren't. But then I looked back and yeah. Now Ghostface made their crimson splash on the big screen, but they are no stranger to the world of video games, as this masked killer has appeared in several other games prior to their imminent arrival in the realms of Mortal Kombat. Ghostface appeared as a costume in Naughty Bear, as a playable character in Call of Duty, most famously as a playable killer in Dead by Daylight, and they even had their own short-lived mobile game to coincide with the then latest movie, Scream 4, which the game has unfortunately been delisted from both iOS and Android, and of course there's the less than official appearance in Terrordrome. Despite the immense success that Ghostface has had in gaming, they still have yet to join the ranks of Jason, Leatherface, and the Killer from Outer Space, and getting their own proper, dedicated video game. We can only hope. Will Ghostface's appearance in Mortal Kombat 1 be their best yet? Have to wait and see. Part of the fun of the Ghostface killer is that it's someone new every time, and it's usually more than just one person. This white-faced has been played by 13 different actors, 17 if you cut the Lakewood Slasher. But while the person behind the mask is constantly changing, the voice has remained the same no matter who is behind that mask. The voice of the voice being Roger L. Jackson.
Hello, Sydney. Hello, Sydney. Hello, Sydney.
Who is returning for Ghostface's appearance in MK1.
What's your favorite scary movie?
That said, Roger might not be the only one making a comeback, as Matthew Lillard, who played one of the original Ghostfaces, swears that his character Stu is still alive.
Listen, Stu is definitely alive. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, my character Stu is definitely alive, right?
However, the screenwriter for Scream claims that Stu is indeed dead. Who are you gonna believe? All that said, now we just gotta wonder, who is gonna be behind that mask in Mortal Kombat 1? Ghostface is not coming to Mortal Kombat 1 with a cameo, but what if he did? Who would have been a perfect complementary cameo for Ghostface? Let's start with the obvious correct answer to this question, Chucky. The cameo system was made to have this little freak come in and assist your favorite fighter with their murderous endeavors. Even Ed Boon admitted in a tweet that they considered putting Chucky in the game, but no dice. And it is a damn shame, it would have been a perfect killer collab. Now let's reel it back a bit to just proper MK characters and talk about somebody who would perfectly match Ghostface's bloodlust with meat. A guy who thinks it's fun to flay people alive, fighting alongside a guy who looks like he was flayed alive. It's a match made in hell, and it would be a hell of a visual at that. Then someone who we could see working together, if not necessarily liking each other, Collector. It's a real simple business transaction. Ghostface gets to murder them, and Collector gets to pilfer their pockets. I feel like they could pretty easily come to a handshake deal. But someone who Ghostface probably would be kindred spirits with, Jarek. Both are just a-hole scumbags who think that they are tough and want the chance to prove it, but can't really hold their own in a 1v1 against anybody even slightly more competent than them. Plus, Ghosty already has a hookup with the Black Dragon on this timeline, so it is not a stretch. Who on the Mortal Kombat roster could canonically beat Ghostface? But we're gonna give this spooky season slasher the best benefit of the doubt and the most advantage possible. We're gonna approach this like Ghosty has broken into their house at 3 a.m. and the victim is home alone. Just 1 to 3 Ghostface killers versus the one lone combatant. Because if it was proper Mortal Kombat tournament rules, face to face, it would probably be a 0-10 sweep. And before we start, make sure you like and follow. We're gonna start with the rapid fire people who would have absolutely no issues. Liu Kang, Raiden, Garrus, Scorpion, Smoke, Reptile, Sub-Zero. I don't think any of these guys would be sweating if they came face to face with Ghostface, despite what we saw in the trailer. Now someone who is tough, but might have a hard time, Baraka. Especially since in this new era, he's just a dude inflicted with terminal porcupine herpes. I think that Baraka could beat Ghostface, but is not a clear-cut victory. Natara coming in with her first W because Vampire beats Angsty Teen. Shang Tsung and General Shao would independently dunk on Ghostface like a little bitch. It would be like a scene out of a scary movie, Ghostface trying to fight either of them. Kenshi, I consider putting in a maybe for a minute, but it's hard to sneak up on somebody with telekinesis who also has a ghost samurai watching their back 24/7. And speaking of magical swords, Ashura. Maybe. And I know what you're thinking. Zach, how do you give Ashura a maybe against Homelander and Omni-Man, but also against Ghostface? And it's actually for the exact same reasons. Because her magic sword, for all intents and purposes, is the only real advantage that she has. If they can avoid getting stabbed or slashed themselves, they might have a shot. Havoc would respect the hustle and then rip out their hearts with a smile on his face. Another rapid fire of winners. Sindel, Rain, Tanya, Kung Lao, Reiko, Ermac, Lee, May. Now you may be wondering, Zach, why Reiko and Kung Lao get yes when Ashura get maybe? Well, the answer to both is very simple. Training, skills, and the almighty vibes. I feel like Reiko is one of those guys where you could stab him in the gut and be like, oh, but then you immediately shove his thumbs into your eye sockets. And Razor Hack beats Pocket Knife, it just does. Katana and Melina, the vibes are a little off here. I'm gonna be split and say the Katana is a yes and Melina is a maybe. They're both trained in combat. They both have some superpowers. But again, we're approaching this as, surprise attack when they're home alone, and that gives Ghostface a little bit of an advantage. Between the two, I say Katana has the better shot because Ghostface is known to be, relatively smart and conniving, again, relatively. And if Melina went all feral, that might actually work in Ghosty's favor. Again though, it's a high maybe. Real close to a yes. Then a different pair of ladies, Sector and Cyrex. They would have little issue. And yes, I just said surprise attack when they're home alone, but for the sake of this, they still have their armor. Sector isn't walking around in a pair of toe socks and one of Sub-Zero's oversized hockey jerseys. Takeda's ninja skills and razor wires would be more than enough to dispatch the costume killer. Alright, I've been putting this off for long enough. Johnny Cage takes the lone L on this list.
Oh, come on! This is bullshit! He's a dude with a knife!
He's the most just a guy on the MK roster, besides Ghostface. He has no glow balls, no shadow powers. In the movies, the Ghostface has killed people as strong or stronger than Johnny. So I think Johnny would lose. Quan Chi, if they can duck and dive and get real fast and shank him in the throat, maybe, but realistically, probably not. Mind control, demons that he can summon at will, other vague magical powers. Homelander and Omni-Man.
Well...
Peacemaker! They fought guys with guns before and won, but Peacemaker still has the helmets, and he is John Cena, so it's a maybe. Noob Saibot. Hey! This one is actually pretty fair right off the bat. Throwing his other powers, his martial arts training, and the fact that he can apparently now kill gods, yeah, Noob Saibot wins. Conan the Barbarian. Same thought as Reiko, actually. He's just a guy, but he is a big, tough, imposing dude, and I bet that he could shrug off being stabbed in the stomach and then call Drogo anyone under that mask. So Conan would win. And capping off with the T-1000. Yeah, Ghosty don't stand a chance. So there we have it. My breakdown of who I think could canonically beat Ghostface on Mortal Kombat roster. Did you know that Ghostface has a secret brutality? If you do the always outnumbered high version against an almost dead opponent, it will knock their head clean off like it was an uppercut brutality, and your partner will hit a little pose. Speaking of Ghostface's kills, did you know that if you do his surprise fatality against Kenshi, you'll get a unique version of the fatality cutscene because, Kenshi does not have an eyeball to reflect Ghostface's mask off of. And another secret is, did you know that if you are fighting Omni-Man with Ghostface, if the person playing Omni-Man holds all four of the face buttons, you will just instantly brutality Ghostface.
What's your plan? Trick-or-treating?
Carving that stupid mustache off your smug face.
Too slow, too weak, too easy.
Brutality. Omni-Man wins.
Alright, that one's not true, but you believed it for a second, didn't you? What is true, though, is I freaking love Ghostface. He's probably my favorite, actually, without a doubt, my favorite DLC character in MK1, and he is real close to being my favorite guest character in the franchise's history. Ghostface's arcade ending kinda sucks. Ghostface just came out from Mortal Kombat 1, I went through his arcade mode, and I was a little bit disappointed with how it ended. Well, that was a fucking flaccid fart. Let me just say this real quick. I really like Ghostface as a character. He plays really well, his moveset is great, his interactions and his taunts and just everything with his style is fantastic. Ghostface, as a playable character in MK1, is a home run, hole-in-one, slap shot, whatever sports metaphor you want to use. Also, real quick, I'm going live today, November 24th, Sunday, unboxing these retro 1994 Mortal Kombat trading cards live on stream. Come join me, don't be a wuss. And now, back to talking about Ghostface's arcade ending. His arcade ending, though, what we were really hoping for, the big reveal, was just horribly disappointing to me because there was no big reveal.
You shouldn't figure out who the killer is till the third act reveal.
Where's the third act reveal, Stephanie? Where is it? Yeah, we get to see Billy's face through stuff like fatal blows, but this is the most that anyone has ever talked or cared about Cobra and Kira, and we didn't get a single strand of blonde hair or a glimpse of a black dragon tattoo. His whole arc in the ending was, I am now in the Mortal Kombat universe, and I'm gonna go kill people, which wasn't exactly a surprise. Don't get me wrong, there's a pretty fun idea in there where he becomes like an internet influencer serial killer, but about halfway through the ending, we get sidetracked with him talking about how he hopes that his crimes get turned into a video game, and then it's over. We never get any mention of who's under that mask, how they met, or anything. You could easily go through the whole tower, never switch stances, never get hit with a fatal blow or a fatality, and then, once you watch the ending and the credits roll, you still have no idea who's under the mask. Hello? Am I just being picky, or does anyone else feel this way? So that said, I've taken it upon myself to write a new second half to Ghostface's ending. Let me know what you think.
1 minute, I'm in Woodsboro, closing in for the kill. Then the next, somehow, I'm here. How did it happen, and why? Don't know, and I don't care. What I do know is I'm gonna sink my teeth into this plot twist. But people here don't know me. And if I'm gonna relish making mayhem, I need 'em fucking scared. Live streaming some kills will do the trick. The shredded flesh and splattered blood will go viral. And that's when the fun really begins. Of course, I'm going to need someone to hold the camera. And besides, I've learned that killing is like coming, best when done with a partner. Lucky me, I was able to find a couple of like-minded psychos who were more than eager to join in the fun. Woodsboro was just the beginning. It won't be long before not just the country, not just the world, but every world knows to shudder when the phone rings and keep their doors locked at night because they never know who might come knocking.
Did Ghostface's arcade ending bother you at all? Follow for more MK content.